Well, it's going to happen with the winds and stuff. I tell you, true survivors, if you truly want to survive, don't buy guns and ammo. Buy a good book and start trusting what it says. Because you can stand in that 300-mile wind while your neighbors are being sucked out of their little hidey holes, and that wind isn't going to touch you at all. There's a difference between one who is in right standing and those who live in fear or other than right standing. It's happened in the past. The Old Testament is full of that kind of strangeness, where people survived that under normal circumstances they had no business surviving. Dad takes care of you if your heart is right. Now I saw something in that vision that wavered. It was not a non-truth. It wavered. In this particular case, it was showing me that this is a probability, but the event could or could not take place. Civil war. Blacks against whites. Indians against whites generally. Mexicans against whites. Whites against Mexicans. I don't care if you know the sweetest black man or Mexican man or woman that would cause no harm at all in this crazy world of madness, guns and stuff. You might love that person who's trying to go next to a building 3 buildings away, knowing full well that that person is a good person. You know it. But maybe your neighbor across the street who's got a .30-06 in his hand or her hand with a nice rifle scope, they don't know that person. So that person is just S-O-L. Shoot out of luck. Down they go, blown away. And guess what? You might be like that person. So what happens? You end up barricading yourself in a house, your own home. Where can you go out safely? There is no safety. And what happens? By the way, this is designed by government, so that they say, our U.S. government I'm speaking of, look, we're going crazy. Our own armies cannot even control our own people. UN, come in and help us. That's the plan. One world government, people laugh at the thought. Some don't. I tell you, I don't laugh at that. I see it. I've seen it to be. It's all set up, and it's all in the good book. Read that good book. I don't care what religion or non-religion you are. There's truth in there. You think what this old man is sharing about 3 days of hour and a half, 2-hour vision over each day is news? It's nothing. It's in the good book, written thousands of years ago. Read it. I don't care if it's against your religion to read the good book. Hide and read it. You're going to be amazed, because Papa will open your eyes. All right, so now we got this crazy civil war that may or may not come. I tell you the truth, that still stands. It may or may not come. I see the probability is greater that it will, but it still wavers. But it is sheer madness. The only one that are safe, the only person that is safe with any other, is you safe with yourself. Period. You can't even trust your mate or your kid. You can't trust yourself around your kid or your mate. Brain madness. Madness that is unbelievable. This madness, if it comes, will spread eventually. around our mother, the great turtle. Every country will have it. But, thank you, Creator, we're America. We are the leaders, and believe me, you're going to be the first to show it. Hi. Church is breaking up. This is taking place now and has for the last very few years, but it will escalate. And I'm not speaking just of the so-called Christian churches. I'm speaking of all religion churches breaking apart. And I used to think in my own thoughts that would mean the traditionalists will stay in the building, the non-traditionalists will leave. That still holds true. But the traditionalists staying in the building will break up to another traditional type way of worship. The non-traditional says, oh, they're crazy. They don't know what's going on. They're going to break up. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. New Age is part of that breakup. And even they can't agree with each other. And they're breaking off not just to general New Age to, I'm, Wiccan, or I'm this or I'm that, out of New Age. But they still, Wiccan and stuff existed ages ago, just a religion. But it's going to get tinier and tinier and tinier. The so-called traditional churches will soon, in this breakup, are traditional churches. Be it Arabian style or Buddhist style or Voodoo style or Christian style. And people are going to be looking for the truth. The good book says, watch out at this time, I'm paraphrasing, that even the elite can be fooled. And I find that the elite that break away from the Christian church as an example, now they're not traditionalists. They're elite. And they're going to find that within their eliteness, somebody says, no, this is a better way of being free in this eliteness. So they break away. And then that group will break into a tinier group. I tell you true, in the end time of it all, there'll only be a handful out of a body full of people that really have got it right. Are you one of those? If you aren't, you better start praying about it. Metakwiyawashin, one relation. I call people brother and sisters, and a lot don't like it. Tough. Do you know why I can say brother and sister? Because the Creator daydreams us into existence. We are all from God's mind womb. He's my daddy and mommy. So is he yours. Whether you claim you don't believe in this great one or not, doesn't matter. You believe in you. That's why you're here. But nevertheless, folks, you've got to have the mind of a child, that belief system, that innocence, to be right in the sight of Daddy. And how many of you can do that? How many? The kids taking control of the adults. And the government wants that to be. In the state of Washington, and I understand at least one other state, has this similar law. If I yell at my kid, grandchildren, or whatever, and that kid is old enough and intelligent enough to know to pick up a telephone and call the police department saying, my dad's audibly harassing me, there is a knock on your door and you can be carted off to jail, arrested for mental abuse. And God help anybody that spanks their kid or grips their hand or arm. Physical abuse. And what happens in the long run, and the plan is,